The launch of HeartLogic really represents a completely new era in how we use implantable devices to help patients, to help the healthcare system. This is the first FDA-approved predictive analytic alert in an implantable device, and it really just changes the landscape entirely.
So a lot of what we do in managing our heart failure patients at this point in time is reactive. We're not very proactive in how we manage these patients. Oftentimes, when it comes to our attention that they're not doing too well, it's probably almost time for them to get hospitalized.
Right now, what we do for our patients with heart failure is when they leave the clinic, we rely on them to call us about their symptoms. What we'd like to do is actually understand when they have worsening problems before they have symptoms, because then we can act on it.
Patients don't really understand their symptoms, and so that puts a lot of pressure on us as healthcare providers to understand when they're getting worse, when they're stable, when they need to come into the emergency department.
I would describe the benefits of HeartLogic to a physician as an algorithm which takes multiple inputs from a heart failure patient's physiology, combines those into a single, simple diagnostic trend, and alerts a clinician when a patient's condition is changing in the worsening direction.
In the past, we've had, I would say, a number of variables such as thoracic impedance or physical activity, or nocturnal heart rate that are indicators for whether patients are moving in the wrong direction. But when you can use an integrated sensor, then the sensitivity and the specificity of that measure is a lot more, I would say, focused in helping us kind of ferret out the right population who's going to have hospitalizations for heart failure.
It's a preemptive strike. If we can change the course so that they have a smoother course, fewer symptoms, fewer hospitalizations, that's much better for the patient, it's much better for our healthcare systems.
We used MultiSENSE first to create the HeartLogic algorithm, but also to validate the results of the algorithm.
The highlights from the MultiSENSE study are twofold. One is we were able to develop a index that had both good sensitivity and very good specificity for predicting a heart failure event. So that's very exciting. That was really the primary goal. But what has me even more excited is the long lead time from the time an alert occurs until the heart failure event. The median time is 34 days. That gives us a great opportunity to change the course of the future.
So I think HeartLogic is very compelling because for the first time we have an algorithm that's really been validated and is an algorithm that touches upon the things as clinicians that we think are important.
So if I could have data in front of me that's really trustworthy and that gives me a clear direction of what direction I need to go in, that could really eliminate a lot of false steps.
So obviously our goal is to keep patients out of the hospital, and it's to keep patients well, and it's to keep them functioning normally, as normal as they can with this chronic disease state. So the longer lead time that we have to be able to manage them, to keep them out of the hospital, to keep them feeling better, the more effective the tool will be.
And so then we're really a proactive care model as opposed to a reactive care model. It's also more convenient for patients because then we can do something at their convenience at home as opposed to having come to the emergency department or in clinic.
HeartLogic is the first step down a completely new road that Boston Scientific is taking as part of advancing our mission, advancing science for life.